Hello dear students, we discuss living world today in this video. First, we know the living world characteristics means living organisms. What are the characteristics we have to discuss first? First, the earth serves as a home for diverse living organisms. The organisms live in various habitats like forest, mountain, desert, oceans, freshwater bodies, hot springs, polar regions, and almost every place of earth. Living things possess certain characteristics which makes the characteristics of living organisms that can be found in anywhere like forest, mountain, deserts, oceans, freshwater bodies and hot springs, polar regions, and almost every place we found living organisms. Non-living organisms are also found, but majorly living characters are the characters of these. We know all over in earth we found living and non-living things, but we differentiated living things as separate and non-living things as separate. Living things, they can start growing and they have reproduction and they have metabolism and some other characters. But non-living things, they have growth but they don't find any type of metabolism, so they are non-living things. Next we discuss some of the important characteristics are shown in flow chart given in below. First observe this flow chart which is showing in slide. They given in center box characteristics of living organisms: upper growth, inner capable of metabolism, left response to environmental stimuli, right side reproduce. Growth means it can be increased in mass, capable of metabolism, biochemical reaction occur in our body, response to environmental stimuli. Next reproduce, produce offsprings. It is an important chart for our examinations. Please note it. Next we have to move to growth. Growth, it is an living characters and also non-living characters, because we know well growth nothing but that increase the size or increase the mass, that's called growth. Let's discuss living things grow by increase in mass and increase in number of individuals or cells. In multicellular organisms, in particular growth occurs by cell division or increase in number of cells. Growth occurs continuously throughout life in plants, where in animals it occurs up to a certain age only. However, growing in certain body parts like nails, hair, and replacement of lost cells occurs throughout the life. In unicellular organisms, growth can be observed. We know living and non-living things difference. Living things can be grow and For animals, they can be grow up to a certain age. After they can be grow. For plants, they can be grow continuously. If we cut the stem and put in seed, that can be start growing. Second point, reproduction. What is reproduction? It is a process which gives rise to young ones called reproduction. Reproduction, a characteristic of living organisms, is the process of reproduction. Offsprings possess features similar to those of parents in multicellular organisms. The mode of reproduction is generally sexually. Living organisms also produce by asexually. We observe both sexually and asexually reproduction only on living things, on animals or microbes or any bacteria. We observe only livings. Next, move on metabolism. Metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism is another characteristic and defining feature of all living things. It is an important point. Please notice, student. Metabolism is an important characteristic of defining feature of living things. The sum total of anabolic or constructive reactions, anabolism, and catabolic or destructive reactions, catabolism, continuously occurring inside the body called metabolism. Metabolism is equal to anabolism plus catabolism, metabolism. Please note it. Metabolism, nothing but it is an characteristic of defining character of living organisms, continuously occurs in our body. Living world, diversity and taxonomy. We discuss diversity and taxonomy. Look at this yellow color picture. Okay. The earth hosts an immense variety of living organisms. According to a survey, the number of species that are the known and described are between 1.7 to 1.8 millions. This number refers to a biodiversity on the earth. The term biodiversity or biological diversity means the number and type of organisms present on earth from a life in living world. The earth that can be various organisms according to survey. Not only a single or a similar organisms we found, various organisms we found has between 1.7 to 1.8 millions. Next, we move on characters. Systematics. Systematics. The word systematic is derived from the Latin word systema. Systema that can be derived systematic, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. What is system? Systema, that means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linnaeus used systema. Nature has the title of his book. Linnaeus, he used Systema Nature as a title book his book. He contained the term systematic in 1751. Linnaeus contained the term 1751. Don't worry, they don't ask like that question. Systematic is the branch of science that deal with unique property of species and group to recognize, describes. Next we move on identification. It aims to find the correct name and appropriate position of an organism. The morphological and anatomical characters are the extremes for proper identifications. Identification means we have to find out it's what is and we have know about it. Next, classification. Classification is important to us to know what is category and what is gene or other informations. It is an almost impossible to study all the living organisms, so it is necessary to derive some means to make this possible. This can be done by classifying the organisms. Thus, classification is the process by which organisms are grouped into categories based on some yearly observed characters. Biological classification is the scientific arrangement of organisms in a hierarchy of a group and subgroup on the basis of similarities and differences in their traits. Classification is a process by which organisms are grouped into a categories. Classification is a process which can be grouped into based on some early characters what we are observed on it. Biological classification is the scientific arrangement of an organism in a series of groups. Next, advantages of classification. What is the advantages of classification? We studied classification, but what's the advantages on classification? Why we need to classify and what's the helpful to us from classification? Let me discuss one by one. First point, it helps to identify an organism easily because we find so many organisms, but we easy to find which is it is male or female or its name or gene like that. Next, new organisms easily get correct place in their respective group. Means we find some ideas about on it. It makes study of future easy. It also helps in building evolutionary pathways. It becomes easy to know the future of whole group by studying one or two organisms of the group. It helps easily to identify an organism and correct place their respective groups and building evolutionary pathways like that helpful to us. Nomenclature, it's also an taxonomic kind. It is also important Nomenclature is a system of naming living organisms in a way that a particular organism is known by some name all over the world. Nomenclature is a system that can be naming living organisms in a way of an organism. Next, common names. Common names, we know common names and scientific names, but common name that can be different from one place to another place. The common name are vernacular names are the local names they given organisms in a specific language in a particular region. There are different name of some regions in different region, even which is in country. Within a country that is the one name, and other country that can be called in other name. So common name is not that much of future. Next, advantages of common names. What are the advantages? Let me discuss. Common names are easy to pronounce and are the short. Example, cat or bill. Next, people are familiar to those names since childhood. They are the based on some features of example, cow, crow, crown sounds like that. Scientific name. It is an most important. Please students note it. It is important topic to us for NEET or CET exam. Every year from this scientific names they asking every one questions from everywhere. Scientific name is given by biologist. These names represent a particular organisms in every part of world. The system of providing scientific name is called binomial nomenclature. The scientific name must be accepted in every part of the world and assigned on agree principles and criteria. Different for each species and not used for other organisms earlier. Scientific name that can be a particular name that can be a same from one country and another country also use that word. That example, Mangifera indica in India that call Mangifera indica, and other foreign countries also they call Mangifera indica. That's known as scientific name, and its scientific name must be they have some characters that can be accepted both countries. Binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature was developed by Carolus Linnaeus in 1751. Binomial nomenclature was developed by Carolus Linnaeus in 1751. All scientific names for animals under binomial nomenclature were given by Linnaeus in the 10th edition of his book Cisterna Nature 1958. Linnaeus named plants according to binomial nomenclature in his book Species Plantarum 1753. Linnaeus he find the binomial nomenclature and scientific names for animals under binomial nomenclature. The rule was received again by the following nomenclature codes. This code are very important for all exams because it's most important to us. Let me say ICBN, International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. ICZN, International Code of Zoological Nomenclature. ICBN, International Code of Bacteriological Nomenclature. ICVN, International Code of Viral Nomenclature. ICNP, International Code of Nomenclature for Cultivated Plants. Please note it by fusing video. Please note it, these points are helpful in exam and write it inside. Next we enter to taxonomy. What is taxonomy? It is the science of identification, classification and nomenclature based on their special characteristics. All living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is called taxonomy. What is taxonomy? Living organisms can be classified into a different taxa. This process known as taxonomy. Carolus Linnaeus is known as father of taxonomy. Please note it. Carolus Linnaeus has a father of taxonomy. The basis of modern taxonomy studies are the external and internal structure, comparative morphology along with structure of cells, cytology, development process, embryology and elongation, ecological information of organisms, ecology. It provides information according to similarities, dissimilarities and evolutionary relationship. Carolus Linnaeus defined the term taxonomy. What is taxonomy means? Process of classification of taxa is known as taxonomy. Next we move on species. What is species? It is one type of characters which can be derived from one organism or any species. Species is considered at a lowest or basic taxonomy category which consists of one or more individuals of a populations that resembles one another closely in the individuals of other species. The member of species interpreted that feels reproductively isolated from other. For example, Mangifera indica, that's known as mango, Solarium tuberosum, that's potato, Panthera leo, that's lion. All the three names indica, tuberosum and leo represents the specific epithet, where the first word Mangifera, Solanum and Panthera were genera or represents another higher level of taxa or category. Each gene may have one or more than one specific epithet respecting different organisms but having morphologically similar. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called tigers, and Solanum includes species like Nigrum and Melonzina. Species nothing but it's a name that can be identified the organisms like Mangifera indica, like that. Next, genus genre compares a group of related species which has more characters common in comparison to species of other genera. In other words, genera are the ancestors of closely species called as genera. Genera, it is a first species. Next, genera. Next, we move on. Family. Family is a group of related genera with less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. All the genera of family have some common or correlated features. They are the separable from genera of a related family by important differences in both vegetative and reproductive features. A plant family ends in a suffix aea and subfamily ods, while an animal family has a suffix ed and subfamily is its. Families is a group related genera which can less number is known as family. Family, it's identify which is the family and what's its functions and characters. Next, we will move on. Class and order. Lineage is a group of one or more related families that possess some similar correlated characters which are similar in number as compared to family or genera, plants and animals. Order with their respective families. Order, animals and families. The group of class is the way at which lesser in number and compared to family or genera, plants and animals. Orders with their respective classes. That is also one of the part of classification. And next, we move on phylum. Phylum is a major priority for classification. Phylum or it's also called as division, is a taxonomic category higher than class and lower in rank to kingdom. Higher than class and lower than kingdom is known as phylum. The term phylum is used for animals, where division is commonly employed for plants. It contains of more than one classes having some similar colored characters. For example, phylum Chordata of animals containing following uses. Example: fiscals, amphibians, reptiles, ants and mammals. These are phylums. Yes. Amphibians, reptiles, ants and mammals. These are phylums. that can be used the term animals for which division of commonly implied is known as phylum. Next we move to kingdom. Kingdom, it is the last portion to classify, that's animal kingdom, plant kingdom and others. Kingdom, that means it is known to be the highest category in taxonomy. Which is the highest category in taxonomy? That is kingdom. This includes all the organisms which share a set of discharge characters. For example, all the animals belongs to various phylum or assigned the highest category called kingdom. For example, Animalia in the classification system of animals. Similarly, all the plants are kept in kingdom Plantae. According to R.H. Whitaker, 1969, assesses 5 kingdom classification of organisms. They are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Intermediate categories. These 5 categories are intermediate categories. The R.H. Whitaker in 1969, the association of 5 kingdom classifications. These kingdoms are Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. These are the category which denote and identified by R.H. Whitaker. Let me see some interesting example. Please make this table for that helpful to face NEET and CET exams. Some of the organisms with their taxonomic category. First, common name, scientific name, species, genus, family, order, classes, phylum, a division and kingdom. First one, like humans, that specific name is Homo sapiens, species is sapiens species and genus is Homo, and family includes Hominidae and order Primata, class is Mammalia and phylum is Chordata, kingdom is Animalia. Like that, please note this all 6 common names. It's important for our examination. Every year this type of questions asking in NEET exams as well as CET also. They given scientific name and asking order or class, are given common names and ask genus or family or order or class, like that. You also find last my video MCQ, top MCQ we discuss on last video. If you don't see that, please visit and see that entire top 20 MCQ series also is present. That is helpful to score better. Next, move on another one, herbarium. Herbarium is a stored house of collected plant specimens that are dried, preserved on sheets. These are species arranged further according to a universally accepted system of classification. The institute and universities maintains their own herbarium by collecting specimens from local and far away places. Herbarium, it is a major rule to collect and store the specimen or the slides or any materials or medium that can be stored in long so many years in a stored house or stock room that can be helpful to identify that organism or microbes. Next, move on botanical gardens. Botanical gardens are the specialized gardens that have collection of living plants for reference. Reference purpose, we collected living plants from gardens or forest. These gardens generally have facilities like library, laboratory, herbarium and museum. The botanical gardens are maintained by government, semi-government and other private. Botanical gardens is important to us because so many laboratories, herbarium and museums are there, and they can be botanical gardens are maintained by government or semi-government and other private governments. Other privates. Next, museum. Museum is a place for collection of preserved plants and animal specimens for study and reference. The universities and educational institutes maintains their own museums in their botany and zoology departments. Plants which cannot be kept in herbaria are preserved in museums. For example, algae, fungi, mosses, forms, fruits, etc. Like the specimens are preserved in container or jars in preservative solutions. Museums is a place that can be preserved so many bacteria, algae and fungus, mosses and some other living things that can be helpful to identify and know about by detailed study of their organisms. And private or government colleges or any education institute that can be engaged in their colleges. Zoological parks. Zoological parks are zoos or places where wild animals are kept in protected environment under human care and which enable us to learn about their food habitat and behavior. Please note it. Zoological parks that can be helpful to us to learn about their food habitat and behavior. Have a probability to ask this question: what is the use of zoological parks? It is used to learn about their food habitat and behaviors. Zoological parks provide nomenclature habitat to the animals. In India, there are about 200 zoological parks. These zoos are managed by a Central Zoo Authority of India. The World Zoo Conservation Strategy. The zoological parks are the Indians about 200. About 200 zoological parks is there, and their zoological parks are Central Zoos Authorities. They can be maintained in zoological parks. Next, move on. Key. What is key? It is also a one type of botanical nomenclature. Means it is also an key is also taxonomical aid. used for identification of plants and animals. Based on similarities and dissimilarities, it helps in identification of plants and animals by selecting and eliminating the characters according to their present or absent in organisms under study. The key generally used to constructing characters called couplet. This result in acceptance of one present in organism and rejection of other. Each statement in key is called a let. These are taxonomy keys. Taxonomy key is nothing but they are also taxonomic guide used to identify the plants or animals based on similar or dissimilar characters. That helps in identification of plants and animals by selecting and elimination the characters according to their presence or absence of organisms under study. That is the use of key. And okay, today this class is over. We discuss next class to continue portion, and all the best to your examination. Do well, and first hope yourself, don't waste time. And also in this video some grammatical mistake is if is there, that can be adjusted on next class. It is my fourth class, I think. Okay, anyways, don't waste your time, go and deep study. Must kept one small book or small notes that can you record what are you studied and write down key points which is important and which is most focus on you. Make some charts like different what are you doing and what's your time of study, like that make your small timetable and make practice all days. Okay, do well, don't worry, all the best. You can reach your, definitely you can do. Don't worry and don't think negatively, do positive and go positive. Definitely you go and reach your goals. Okay, finally thank you for watching. Dear students, we continue on next class. Until take care, bye bye.